What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. That's why. Why? Say it with me. Why? Why become a member? Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Get involved. Become a member. Support the channel. Support me. Need your support. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you will receive a notification every time that I drop a video. You can go and check it out, leave a comment, and like the video. Again, if you support me, support the content. And again, become a member. This situation, this episode, this story takes us once again to the Los Angeles County Jail. Dirty, disgusting, miserable, and suffused, replete with violence. It's the Los Angeles County Jail for any and every reason. On all sides, violence on all sides. The police and every race and every faction in there participates in the degradation and the violence. I went down to the county jail in 2003 just for a couple of months trying to get some time removed from my case, and there was no less than 30 incidents in the 2 months that I was there that are noteworthy because it is constant and rampant because, the structure is totally different than the structure there in prison. And there in Lancaster, I should say, there was a riot that transpired December 21st, 2001. This white boy that was in the riot is in the Los Angeles County Jail here in 2003. The riot that transpired in Lancaster, I'll get into it soon, I'm sure. But the riot was between the Southsiders and the blacks. What had happened was, to summarize, 4 blacks or so had taken off on the police up there in Lancaster. And one of them had got away with it. They went on lockdown. They had been on lockdown for about 9 days. And a Mexican came that was a blood, that was a damu. So a Mexican claiming a black gang. This is during the lockdown. Now, the Crips don't know that this has transpired, that a blood has hit the yard, that's a Mexican. And that apparently the Mexicans are not happy about it. But again, some of the Bloods know about it. They've caught wind because everybody's on lockdown over this happening with the police. After a couple of days, they let everyone off of lockdown except for the blacks. So all of the blacks are still on lockdown, so they can't really communicate properly. There are no cell phones at this time. The Southsiders and the whites are out communicating. And they let they ran a modified release with the blacks. So they let 5 blacks from a tier or from a building out onto the yard. So the blacks come out to the yard the very first day off of the lockdown. Well, not totally off the lockdown, on modified lockdown. So it's only a few blacks out there. There's some old people out there as well, very old. And the Southsiders, they attacked. They attacked the blacks with weapons. They targeted the Bloods. They targeted the Damus because of the Mexican that had just hit the yard. There's a Damu. This is why they are attacking. The whites attacked along with the Southsiders. In fact, a group of blacks were occupied on one side of the yard, tending to the whites, who had all got involved. They had nothing to do with it. This was a Southsider beef issue, a gripe that they had, their rules, their politics, whatever. They decided because this dude had hit the yard that they were going to attack. But what do the whites have to do with that? The dude that hit the yard wasn't white. They just always have to get involved in somebody else's business. Is how the blacks were feeling. they'd take any opportunity to help the Southsiders against the blacks. And people were pissed. The blacks did respond, by the way, after that riot transpired there in Lancaster. Again, I'll get into it. One of the whites that was involved in that riot, he's now here in the Los Angeles County Jail, along with a dude from Inglewood family blood that was there when the riot transpired. He recognized the white boy, and he took umbrage to the whites helping and getting involved because some blacks got injured during that riot. Again, there was a response, but some blacks got injured. They were outnumbered. Many Crips had no idea what was going on, so they didn't even know that it was tension on the yard. They were unsuspecting. And they're not happy about it. The Damu from Inglewood family, he's not happy because, again, the Southsiders had targeted the Bloods. They targeted the Damus because of this dude hitting in the yard. So he's taking it real personal that this white guy, is here in the Los Angeles County Jail. He comes and tells the blacks what happened. Typically, even things that happen on the street between different gangs and different races, you leave it on the street. And it's the same thing if something is going on inside a prison there in the Los Angeles County Jail. Again, it's a different environment, a different entity, a different structure. Whatever is transpiring in prison, we leave it there in prison, and vice versa. Rarely will something spill over from the Los Angeles County Jail to a level 4 yard. So whatever happened in Lancaster is really supposed to be left there. But again, he's taking this personal. And the blacks clearly have the numbers here in the Los Angeles County Jail. There's no more than 10 Woods here on a tier, 10 Woods here in the module. And I don't know how many blacks, a couple hundred. So he comes and tells the blacks what happened. And some of the blacks that are there, they too are strong of mind. They've been reading black history, and they have racial pride. And they want to make a stand and make a statement that we have to start responding to some of these situations and issues when people get out of line, even though this situation transpired there in prison. Let's teach these Woods a lesson. We're sick of it. What did y'all have to do with it? Why did y'all respond? Now, we had to devise a plan on how to attack this Wood here in particular that was actually there on the yard in Lancaster when this tragic riot transpired. The dude from Inglewood family said that he would run inside of his cell, but he was in a cell with one Southsider, and he also had 2 blacks in the cell with him. And he was going to take a couple of his homeboys in the cell with him to have his back, just in case the Southsider got involved or the Wood himself may have had a weapon or what have you. But the blacks that were inside of the cell, we had to alert them to what was going on because they're about to run inside of their cell and get the Wood. So the blacks inside the cell said, just come in here, you ain't got to bring none of your homeboys, we'll get this dude with you. We got y'all back. And so that's what happened. The dude from Inglewood family, he ran in a cell on the Wood. And after they beat the Wood up, all 3 of the blacks beat the Wood up, the Southsider did not get involved. The dude from Inglewood, well, he pulled out a switchblade, well, not a switchblade, but a razor blade. One of those blades that we use in the Los Angeles County Jail to slice people up. And he pulled one out, and the Wood is down there on the floor. And he handed the Wood the razor blade and told the Wood to cut himself, to either cut himself about the face area or he would do it for him. And if he had to do it, it was going to be horrific. Now, this was a strange move because I'm saying, well, damn, now you're arming the opposition. Now you're arming the Wood with a weapon. Let's say he decides to just go commando and start swinging the weapon upon all 3 of you fools. You're in big trouble, even though all of them had weapons. But still, don't just get an oppositional weapon, but that's what he did. He's pissed off and he wants to humiliate this guy, apparently. And the Wood took the blade. And he did slice himself like an orange. I said, whoa, what the hell? Put himself right there on the cheek and was begging for them not to unalive him. Because clearly they all had sinister, nefarious looks on their faces and had came clearly to take care of business. They got out of there. But the blacks then decided, you know what? Let's go on the offensive with their entire wood pile. We don't believe that they're going to respond over this situation because, again, they're very thin. Just about 10 to 12 of them there in the module. They have absolutely no chance. But just in case, because some of them were penitentiary bound and had already been to the penitentiary and had a certain stature and a certain look about them, like perhaps just to save face, even though they were outnumbered and would not win the war, they may still want to kick one off just to maintain their reputations. So we all decided, let's not wait around for that to happen. One of their people was attacked and cut up, even though it was self-inflicted. They may want to respond over that situation, the humiliation of it all. So we decided that we would go on the roof. The roof is similar to the yard in prison, but it's the roof in the Los Angeles County Jail. You actually go up the escalators all the way to the top, and you go to the roof. They got basketball courts out there and benches out there, tables and what have you. And that's where we get our yard at. But they call it the roof. People have tried to escape from there in the past with tying sheets together and trying to climb down the wall. So now they have big gates and all that, wires and all this, so you can't get out up there on top of the roof. But we knew that all the woods would come out, for the most part, on the roof. And this would give us open space and an open area to attack. And a few days later, after the one Wood had sliced himself, well, they did indeed call roof. They call it maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, roof. You don't go out there often. And we went out there and the plan was, as soon as the last person comes in on top of the roof and they close the doors, signifying that the last person has come in and go ahead and start programming, let's attack then. Let's not waste any time whatsoever. So we went to the roof, and the blacks, well, we all had weaponry, preparing. No one wants to play with these guys. Again, this whole thing was to send a message that we will be responding to these attacks wherever they transpire. And we got to the roof, and the last person came in. And as soon as the last person came in, well, the blacks, they attacked. Didn't waste any time whatsoever. Well, the Woods, they started to scatter because it was at least maybe 30 blacks out there and maybe 7 Woods. Not all of them had made it out. And they really had no chance. It was a case of them being outnumbered drastically. And the blacks, with history in mind and fed up with these unwarranted attacks, approached them with explicit anger and revenge on their minds. And it showed in the way that they physically attacked. Because knives were drawn, and we had a couple of Woods on the ground, and we're swinging these weapons as if we were swinging fists, until the police came out there and broke it up, spraying. But it went on for a while out there. And the Southsiders, they did not get involved. They all got to one side of the basketball court and stood there. They didn't sit down, though. They didn't sit down until it was all over, till the police ran out there. They wouldn't sit down. Just in case, we came after them next or something. I'm guessing they stood in their stands, which is smart. And they didn't get down till the police came. And it was ugly. A few Woods got injured. They were hurting. A couple of them got poked and punctured. One of them even, he sort of got butchered because the blacks were upset and fed up with these people getting involved in things that were essentially none of their damn business. And I'll tell you, no more than 3 weeks later, when it was time for them to run roof again, because they ran roof again, even though that situation had happened. This is a county jail, they don't care. We went up with the Southsiders right there on the same roof 3 weeks later after attacking the Woods. A situation had transpired there in the visiting area in the Los Angeles County Jail between a couple of blacks and a couple of Southsiders after the situation with the Woods. And there was a dude there from PDL and a dude there, I think his name was Scotty from Raymond. And they was pretty much running a module. And the dude from PDL, his name was D something, a dark-skinned dude with braids. And they came around saying, we got to get off on the Southsiders the next time they run roof. Now, at this time, I'm thinking these dudes are just feeling themselves because we clearly got the best of the Woods. So now they just feeling like there's a lot of black soldiers here. Let's just clean up all kinds of shit. This is what I'm thinking. Until I found out what happened there in the visiting area between the Southsiders and the blacks. And this is why they felt like it was time to go on the offensive with the Southsiders. And that's what happened. In fact, I'm going to have to bring you that story next. Stay free, people!